Hey everybody, I'm Tim. Welcome to All Things Fast, your home of everything related to speed, adrenaline, excitement, and a bit of danger.
This is how the great go. Feeling like Picasso when I'm letting all the pain go. Ready for the payload. Young Pablo for the pesos. If you're gonna pollen, come say so. This is how the great go.
Today I'm in the garage working on building my own model rocket engines because I'm preparing to do another launch with the model rocket cars. And I want to have a lot more power. So the only way to do that is to build my own motors with unlimited power. So here I have all the ingredients. First thing you need is potassium nitrate in the form of spectricide stump remover, powdered sugar, which is the other component of the fuel, and then I have just plain old dollar store cat litter that I'm going to make a powdered clay to make the nozzles and plugs for the rocket casings. Then you need an electric blender or a coffee grinder to grind up the granules until they're a smooth powder. Some mixing cups. Then I have a 3/4 inch wooden dowel to tamp the powder down into the casing. And I have some 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe to make the actual casings. And I'm going to cut everything on the chop saw. So first thing I'm going to do is grind up some cat litter into a fine powder and then set it aside, and that'll be used to make the nozzle and the plug for the rocket motor casing. You want to grind the cat litter down to a super fine powder so that you can tamp it down tightly into the rocket motor casing, and it'll stay there, and then you can drill a hole in it to make the nozzle. Okay, so the cat litter is a nice fine powder. So I'm going to put that into my mixing cup and set that aside so that I can grind up the potassium nitrate. Okay, I've added a small amount of potassium nitrate, just enough to do a couple of tests. I'm going to grind that up until it's an extremely fine powder. Okay, that's ground up super fine. It's about the same consistency as the powdered sugar, which we're going to mix potassium nitrate 65% and powdered sugar 35%. And that will be our rocket fuel. Okay, for my test batch, I'm going to mix 65 grams of potassium nitrate, which is about there, close enough. And 35 grams of powdered sugar. Now I'm going to mix the two together. Once these are mixed, it's volatile, so you can't put it back in the blender or anything. You have to mix it by hand because it's basically an explosive. I'm going to mix it up really good, and then I'm going to do some testing with it. See how it burns and see how it works in a rocket motor. Okay, so here's my mixture. Gonna do a little flame test and see how this stuff burns. Here we go. Oh yeah. Rocket fuel. Good stuff. Now it's time to cut up my PVC tube and make some casings. Here we go. I'm going to take my PVC tubing and I'm going to cut it into 5-inch sections, and those will become my rocket engines. Okay, now what I've done is I've taken my rotary tool and scuffed up the inside of the tubing so that there's a good rough surface for the cat litter to stick to, so that the end plug and the nozzle will be solidly installed into the casing. And I've also made a piece of the 3/4 inch doweling with a 3/4 inch mark at one end and then a 4 1/4 inch mark for the end of the fuel. 25-inch mark for the top of the casing. Now this will tell me how far I have to tamp the powder down in each step to get my end plug, my fuel charge, and the nozzle. Okay, I'm going to start with the cat litter, put a little bit in, and I'm going to tamp it down really hard with the dowel. I'm starting with the cat litter. I'm going to tamp that down really good until I have 3/4 of an inch in there. There we go. There's my end plug. Put it back in the vise, and now I'm going to start putting in my fuel mixture. Put a little bit in, tamp it down a bit. Do some tamping. Keep adding more until I get up to that 3/4 inch mark. Tamp it down some more. Add a little bit more. That should probably do it. That's about it. Now, I'm going to add some more cat litter. And this will become the nozzle. And I can add a little bit more to get it nice and flush. Fill it right up. And that's probably close enough. So, there you have it. Model rocket engine, homemade. All I have to do now is drill out the nozzle, and then I have a model rocket engine approximately equal to the F boosters that I had on the Rocket Red Ranger car. So 2 of these should make that thing fly. So all I have to do is take a 7/32 inch drill bit and find the center quite nicely and carefully start to drill this out by hand. And then I'm going to take the electric drill and drill this all the way to the bottom of the fuel charge. And then that becomes my nozzle. And I'll show you how to make a fuse. And there it is, all drilled out. There's the nozzle. Goes all the way to the bottom of the fuel charge. All I have to do is make my igniters and it's ready to test. Now what you want to do is take a wooden match and a file or a razor knife or something like that you can cut a small groove in the head of the match. And you're going to take your 24 gauge wires and you're going to take one of them, I used red so that it's positive, and you're going to strip away about 3 strands of the wire and cut the rest off because you want a thin wire that's going to be your igniter, because the battery is going to heat that up enough that the match will ignite. You're going to take the wire, the thin part of the wire, and you're going to lay it in the groove, and then you're going to tape it to the match so that you have an igniter. You put that inside the rocket motor, attach that to your electrical leads, hit the switch, and boom, it should go. So we'll do up a few of those and do a test and see how it works.
Gotta